Carol, if you don't already know, manages BookNet Canada's CataList project, an alumnus of both book publishing and book selling. She's excited to be exploring new ways to share information from forthcoming books using online catalogs. Please welcome Carol Gordon.
Thank you. So good afternoon. I'm Carol Gordon. I'm the project manager for CataList. So that is BookNet Canada's e-catalogue solution for the Canadian trade market. I'm going to do a pretty quick update on some of the new things that we've added to CataList this past year and give you a bit of a look ahead at some of the things that we're currently working on. So I thought I'd start out with a few numbers. So CataList has over 1,300 published seasonal catalogs now that anyone can come to the site and view, and they're posted by 74 companies, and that's representing about 220 imprints or client publishers, containing 120,000 titles, and about 28,000 of those carry the Canadian contributor marker, 14,000 ebook listings, which is fantastic and increasing, and our site usage is still going up. So we're continuing to look for new ways to further engage those users that are coming to the site to add value and efficiency just beyond having the catalogs there to browse. So this year, some of the things we did, we added a NetGalley catalog, where CataList users can browse for titles that have e-galleys available for request on NetGalley's service. We work with partners such as the OLA and their Forest of Reading program and Canadian Literary Awards to create industry-relevant cross-publisher catalogs. And of course, we've continued with our schedule of regular rollouts of user-requested features and general improvements. And so I won't be able to cover all of the details of the new things we've done in the short amount of time that we have today, but I'll try and hit some of the highlights of the past year. Our most recent new feature, released just 2 weeks ago, is the ability to export from search results. This was a feature that was brought to us from members of our user group, which is comprised of CataList users from retailer, publisher, library accounts. We meet about twice a year to just discuss issues, what's happening, what's needed, and prioritize the new features for development. So essentially, people were using search, they were getting the list of titles, but they wanted to be able to do more than just view the results. They wanted to be able to take action on the matches that they were getting to their search parameters. And so the export from search results feature lets you select either all the matches that return, or select titles individually to then export right out of CataList to an Excel or a text file, or to create a new custom catalog that's populated with the titles that you selected. So for example, by using the advanced search link at the top right of the screen, a retailer could search for titles released within a certain date range related to a holiday or an event, select a few titles to perhaps consider for display during the holiday, and then export that list out to an Excel file for review later, or to share to a colleague, or to load to a Shopify store. And as a publisher, you could quickly create subject-themed or author-based custom catalogs. Use the publisher or imprint fields to limit the list to your titles only. And then once you've made your selection, simply click the Create Custom Catalog button to launch the catalog creation process. But the biggest new features in CataList this past year were really some changes and additions to the core feature set. This year, in response to many user requests, we made a new view available for all of the catalogs, our scroll view. Scroll view is an addition to the catalog views that we've already had. We've always had the thumbnail and the grid view. In the scroll view, you can set the number of titles that display per page, and you can choose the content elements that always display for you. And if you're signed in, CataList will remember the options you've chosen between sessions. And once you've set the defaults for the displayed fields you want to see, you can still just open and close additional content tabs as needed at the individual title level. And you can also access the sales data report from here, interior images from this page. You can manage order quantities and add or edit notes content. The scroll view also lets you take advantage of some of the features that are already built into the devices that our users are typically using. The majority of our mobile users, for example, are on iPad. So selecting 100 titles per page and using the Safari Add to Reading List feature, you can just save a copy of the catalog page with the data points that you want to see and access it later, even if you're unable to connect to the internet. because we know this happens. So if you've saved a copy of the catalog to your reading list, you can simply access your reading list, call up your saved version. And while you won't be able to add orders or navigate around, at least using the reading list version, it will give you access to the content of the catalog that you've saved. And you can always also export any catalog out to a PDF as well. We did a redesign of the PDF layouts this year. So as well, we did some upgrades to performance and the clarity of images and text. And for those of you that haven't had the opportunity to call any of the PDFs, there are 4 different layout options, including that you can call for any catalog, whether it's a custom catalog or a seasonal one. And you can export out, including there's an option to export your notes content out, and that will include any suggested order, quantity information, and active order information for titles in the catalog. Speaking of ordering, this year we've moved well beyond the initial order-only handling that CataList launched with originally. We've added some order session functionality. So this allows the buyers to maintain multiple orders, have separate orders by company, reorder items, check for previous orders on a title, and easily access all of their orders in one place. You can view and edit your order quantities, add purchase order information, promotion code details, and close or export orders when complete. We've also opened up this ordering feature to sales reps. So a sales rep can now take an order on behalf of their retailer. They can export to Excel, send the buyer a copy of that order, or the retailer can get a password for CataList and just view the order directly. So that work puts CataList in a position to now provide all of the necessary data elements that are required for POS and ILS integrations, for order export integrations. And so we've already started extending into this area with the introduction of the brief or stub mark record export for our library account users. There's fields roughed in here for fund codes and order quantities. They're not yet populated, but that's in one of the future steps. So we'll be looking at furthering that order integration work. Sort of an extension of that is building out some better buyer access controls. So buyer access controls will limit who can access the order functions in retail and library accounts. There's some concern around access to purchasing functionality, so this will allow more accounts to feel comfortable adding direct access to CataList for their staff. In the case of retailers or libraries with multiple locations, many in some cases, buyers will only see the locations they have access to purchase for, which will clean up their page views and eliminate a lot of unnecessary scrolling. And there's a lot more in the works. I wish I had a bit more to show here, but for the last few points, I can give you a hint of what's to come. Building on the export from search function that we looked at earlier, we'll be adding that ability to take any title you're viewing and either send it to an existing catalog or a new. Right now, the export from search is going to create a new catalog. This will allow you to do single or multiple titles and send them to an existing catalog if you wish to do that. So as a rep, if you're working through your upcoming season list, as you're going through the catalog, you'll be able to send out your titles to this one has to go to that buyer, this one has to go to that buyer, or you can build your gift title lists or a regional list as you're going. The new release calendar that Tim was speaking about, there's definitely potential here for some overlap in what we do in CataList. It's a natural place to find new titles, look up what's coming up, what's releasing, we'd like to make it really easy for people to come to the site, check in, have you missed ordering a title that's about to drop in? Was it added to a catalog late? Is there anything you've missed selling in? You can find this information right now using the advanced search function, but we want to just make it really easy. More integrated sales data reporting. So you're going to see, I think in the next presentation, Neha's going to show you the front end of the new sales data site. The back end side of that will allow CataList to access sales data information much faster. So what we'll be able to do is integrate more inline sales data reporting in CataList for our subscribers. And that's a very quick look at some of the things that we have in the works. So to keep up to date with our features as they become available, watch for our monthly newsletter. We've just started this year as well, and we will use that to share all of the details on what's new, what's coming soon, and quick tips for getting the most out of the Catalyst system.